Welcome back, guys. Alex here on another video. How you all doing, guys? I know it's been a while, isn't it? I do find it hard to find the time these days to do these videos, but when I do them, I really enjoy them, and I hope you do too. And it's nice to have new subscribers to the channel. Thanks for jumping on, guys. Going to do something completely different for the channel this week. Thought I'd drag you down memory lane. Well, a memory lane for me, but hopefully it might jog some memories for you as well, because I think a lot of people were into this sort of stuff back in the day. I'm going to go back to sort of the early 80s of my childhood and show you some items that I was into passionately, which I still have. I wouldn't say in my collection, that they're normally up in the loft. I don't normally get them out, but I'd never get rid of them. But before we get onto that, guys, I've got some really nice gifts from one YouTuber and someone that watches my channel. Got to say a big thank you to Pete on a retro trip for sending me a little package, totally out of the blue. Didn't even expect it, because all it said from Pete. I mean, I know a few Petes, but I thought, who could this be? So I messaged him and he said, yeah, I thought of you and I thought you might like these. So thank you very much, Pete. He has sent me a Space Invaders pin badge collection, which is really cool because I do like pin badges. I've got quite a lot actually. So I really appreciate that, Pete. I love the box art. The side art for Space Invaders is so iconic, isn't it? I do regret selling my Space Invaders, I really do. But at the time, you know, I had to make the move. So it had to go. Maybe one day I'll get it back. For me, it would have to be a Taito original with the half mirror in the moon. Or a Space Invaders Part 2 with the half mirror. Yeah. I'm not so much into the midway ones, but the tighter ones I'd have to have. That's so cool, Pete. Cheers for that. And also give me a Space Invaders bottle opener. Do you know what, Pete? I'm always looking for a bottle opener, and this is a brilliant gift. It's something that everyone uses, right? Party time, people come over. Where's a bottle opener? Well, there's no mistake in that, is it? Look at that. So cool. Thanks, Pete. Really appreciate that. And he gave me a game I've never heard of. It's DJ Boy. It's a Japanese import Mega Drive game. Thank you, Pete. I haven't played it yet, but looks like a lot of fun. Really appreciate that, mate. Thank you so much. You don't have to do that. So cool. And also, I had a gift from a YouTuber who watches my channel, Mathis. He's in Europe, I think he's in Germany or something like that. Really appreciate this, mate. You don't have to do this, honestly. I never asked for gifts. But he did win my arcade stick from the competition. So that is on the way, mate. He's on the way. Expect that anytime soon. So I've got this box. I've opened it up, but I haven't actually opened any of the packages. But I took the label off so you can't see any addresses. So he sent me this. It's in it's German paper, is it? Yeah, I think it's German. So it's from Germany. So what have we got in here, Mathis? We've got some Switch and Super Mario 2 promotional leaflets. I have got a couple of these already, actually. It is nice to look back at promotional stuff when new consoles come out. So I appreciate that, mate. And a Gamescom tag, trader visit. I've got a whole bunch of them on my door. Do you want to see all my tags? Here we go. Look at all these from over the years. So that's going into the collection. We've got Southern Fried Gaming Expo. We've got EAG, which I go to every year. We've got the Arcade Club, Chucky Egg, and UK Vac Meet. Got loads on there. So that goes, that's my favourite one, Southern Fried Gaming Expo. Loads of memories of that. So appreciate that, mate. A lanyard, that's the word I'm looking for. That's what they're called. So we've got a package here. Let's open this up. What we've got in here. Now you really don't have to do this, mate. We've got some chocolate biscuits. Excellent. Pick up, triple choc. Thanks, mate. I do love buying old foreign chocolate and sweets, don't you? I remember a day trip to Boulogne with the school. Do you remember those? Did you ever go on those? Boulogne's in sort of northern France, and we always were really fascinated as kids back in the day, in the early 80s. The sweets, they always look completely different. They used to come in these long strips like that. They never used to do anything like that in the UK. Thank you. Another package. What have we got in here? Loads of packages in here. More chocolate. Chocolate cake, yes. Oh, can I have some yes, please? No, you can't. No, yes. Cheers, mate. Thank you. More chocolate. Is it more chocolate? It's more chocolate. Jesus, man. Raider. I'll have some Raiders. Raiders, eh? Going into the cupboard at night and you raid the Raiders. Nice one. Loads of chocolate there, mate. And this is what it's got to be worth opening it all up for, isn't it? Come on, Marcus. Is it a cake? It's more chocolate. Chocolate crosses. Well, that's fantastic, mate. I wasn't expecting all of that. It's loads of chocolate. Or is it? Is it? Let's have a look. It is. I'm going to open one of them up. They're good. Oh, I like them. Oh, there's a game in there. Japanese import game in the bottom of the box. Right. Answers below. What is this game? Because I haven't got a clue. What is this game that Mathis has sent me? Axis? Is that what it's called? Platformer? Shooter? Let us know in the comments below, guys. Thanks very much for your gifts. You really don't have to do that. But I should share them out with the kids. Fantastic. Thank you so much, mate. Right, that's all the gifts out of the way. So this video, guys, I'm going to drag you back all the way back to the early 80s, late 70s. For me growing up, it was quite weird watching some of the TV programs back in the day. I only had a black and white TV in my bedroom. Dad dominated the TV downstairs. I remember science fiction programs like Blake 7, which was my favourite. I wish they'd bring Blake 7 back. Such a great series. And it was like it was a real adult science fiction program, and even going back and watching it today, it's still really, really good. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, although I did go and watch Star Wars at the cinema back in the day. But I do prefer more thought-provoking sci-fis. Like Star Trek, I quite like. You know, the stories are very good, dialogue's really good. Blake 7 for that as well. But also, I was really massively into fantasy. Really, really cool. I loved Lord of the Rings. Probably the only book. I don't think I read it all, but I managed to get through at least 2 of the books. Twin Towers and Journey to the Centre of the Earth's Core, I think it was another book I used to love reading. And I used to love all the Ray Harryhausen films, with the seventh Voyage with the giant Cyclops on the beach was just absolutely amazing. Clash of the Titans, I remember going to the cinema and watching that. So I was really into my fantasy. And I was into a game called Dungeons and Dragons. Now, you're going to laugh. Oh, well, here we go, he's a proper nerd. Well, I guess I was a proper nerd, but I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. At school, they actually had a Dungeons and Dragons after school club, and it was brilliant. Although I felt it was a little bit beyond me at some points. A lot of the people in the class were not just nerdy, but they were quite intelligent. I mean, they were like top of the class type of kids, you know, really good at maths, really good at English, and I suffered at school. I was dyslexic. I was at the bottom of the class for most things, and I did find reading quite hard. I find it difficult to concentrate. I was easily distracted. So it was quite a challenge for me to get into Dungeons & Dragons, but what the good thing what it did is it got me reading. It really did get me reading. And I've got a lot to thank for Dungeons & Dragons for that, because it was the only thing I found myself interested in. If you've got kids and you're forcing them to read, and it's something they're not into, they're never going to bother. They're not going to show any interest. You've got to get them, find the interest that they like, find a book on something they like, and they will start reading if they find it interesting. And for me, Dungeons and Dragons was it. So you got the basic set, but also once you got through the basic set, you got the Fiend Folio, which is basically an advanced book of all the monsters, which is absolutely fantastic. These go for a pretty penny on eBay now. This is my original Fiend Folio book, and it's got all the monsters in here. Also, you have the Dungeon Master's Guide, for those who wanted to be the Dungeon Master. You have the Player's Handbook. This cover is iconic. I'd love to get a t-shirt of this. For me, that just takes me back, that picture. I used to stare at this picture and just look at the characters. They've got to the bottom of the dungeon. They're trying to get all the treasure out of the dungeon, trying to take the jewel out of the devil's eye there, look. It's just an absolutely fantastic book. And just a little, just all the little sketches and all the little write-ups in here are just fantastic to read, especially Monster Manual. Do you remember Monster Manual? I mean, it's iconic, isn't it? Look at all the creatures. You've got all the dragons. Mine's falling apart. You've got all the dragons in here. And I just used to love looking at all the little pictures. Oh God, all the pages have gone everywhere. But you've got all the giants in here. Mine's falling apart, this book, guys. It's really difficult to show you, but this takes me right back. And look at this. I've got to show you this. Mind Flyer. Do you remember Stranger Things? This is right out of Stranger Things. Look, they've taken that. You've got golems on the other side. Look. Used to love a Mimic. Do you remember Mimic? So for those of you that are into Dungeons and Dragons, this is really taking back. I absolutely love Dungeons and Dragons. I thought it was so cool. So there'd be about like 5 or 6 of my mates would go to this after school club, and we'd play one of the mates' dungeons. But also you could get these modules, which were basically written dungeons that you could explore in, that you could role play in. They're already written out, so you'd buy these were modules, and basically it's a whole adventure in here that the dungeon master would read up on before we played the game. A whole adventure. And you know, it takes me back looking at all these pictures. It's so cool. But if you didn't want to buy the module, you could make your own dungeons up, and that's what I did here. So I've got this Dungeons and Dragons book here. It's got 3 dungeons in here for the players to play in. And this is my original one. This is Quest for the Golden Scroll. It's got all my sketches in here. Look, you're in a cell. Look at the cell. It's fascinating going back and reading this stuff. There's little maps, there's little caves I've drawn in here, look. God. Little secret things, like little puzzles to work out. And it's fascinating going back reading this stuff. It really is. I absolutely used to love Dungeons and Dragons. So I used to make all my own dungeons up, and I used to make my own characters up. Now check this character out here, look. That's my drawing from back in the day. Big dragon. And the character, you can laugh at this, is Captain Kirk. Look at the detail and the work that's gone into this character, look. So Captain Kirk, he is a human male, is at level 13. Now I basically made this character up, which you're not supposed to. You're supposed to roll all the dice to create the characters, to determine what it's going to be. And I literally made this up. I cheated basically. And when I turned up to the game one night, I think it was at my mate's house, and I opened this up, they all just started laughing. They just thought, what the hell is this? This is ridiculous. Look how powerful he is. He's got like 17 constitution, 15 wisdom, 15 intelligence, 17 strength. I mean, I just made it up. You know, he's got he's got so much gold. He's got equipment, and he's got magic items. He's got a cloak of mana ray, a wand of fire, a wand of lightning, boots of dancing, ring of ninja, and potion of healing. I mean, he's totally maxed out. I don't know, I was just fan. Do you know what I was in? Why I chose Captain Kirk? Because I was really into TJ Hooker. Do you remember TJ Hooker? So, you know, what's his name? Oh, I've forgotten his bloody name now. Captain Kirk, TJ Hooker, William Shatner. I was a massive fan of William Shatner. And hence this character was sort of dedicated around William Shatner, really. But look at the effort into that. It's so cool, isn't it, looking back at all this stuff. I've got so much stuff here from Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. More dungeons. I'm going to show you this, actually. So these are the characters sheets that you used to get. Basically, these are just photocopied out of the basic set. And then you've got the advanced Dungeons and Dragons character sheet. I've got a whole pamphlet here of stuff. More dungeons. So look at this, more dungeons with a key. So they're all numbered. This is the City of Dead. I've even got my mate's dungeons in here, which is really kind of, it makes me really upset actually seeing all this, because my best friend Tom died at 21 of leukemia, and I've kept some of his stuff in here just as a reminder. I can remember vividly sitting next to him playing these games. Loads of maps we used to draw. Just trying to find. Oh, here it is. This is my mate's dungeon. My mate's Tom Knight's dungeon. You've got spikes. And this is like the beginning when we were first getting into it. We were kids. We must have been about 12 or 13. Just started drawing our own little dungeons. We were so into this game, honestly. So basically, you draw a map or the world that you want them to explore in, and then you kind of make a key points in the dungeon that they might come across, and then you make basically everything else up. We just made it all up, really, but we had so much fun doing it. There's a massive map in here somewhere. I'm trying to find it, guy. Here it is. So this, I remember this taking me weeks to do. So this is, look, the old sellotape, still holding it all together. This was a dungeon I did, or an adventure for my mates. This is how big it is, look. My original dungeon from back in the day, look, all the key points. I mean, it's massive. I drew all those little trees on there. Isn't that cool? You see that? So into Dungeons and Dragons. So what I'm going to show you now, guys, you've seen all my little dungeons and my character sheets. There's just so much in here. There's a whole book of all my Dungeons and Dragons stuff. I've never got rid of it. I've also never got rid of my Citadel Miniatures. Got the original Citadel Miniatures catalogue here, look. So this is issue 1. So in America, see, Dungeons and Dragons is an American thing. So you had Gary Gygax, who basically created Dungeons and Dragons, who's now sadly passed away. It hit the UK, and you had this company in Nottingham called Citadel Miniatures making the figures. And in America you had, or I think it was Canada or America, you had Raoul Parther, which are really early lead figures. But these are the really popular ones now. You probably see the Warhammer shops or Games Workshop shops. The same company used to make these Citadel Miniatures back in the day, but they're all made of lead, and I've still got all mine here. I'm going to show you. This is the original catalogue, guys. The original catalogue of the very first Citadel Miniatures that Games Workshop made. Okay, and I've got quite a lot of them still in my collection, although some of them are in pretty bad condition. I've got the dragon, but he's in bits, and I've got the two-headed troll, and I've got the treant. And these are really sought after now. They're really hard to find. I've got the whole troll tribe here, which are so detailed. Troll champion I've got. And then if you move through, they didn't just do Dungeons and Dragons, they did figures for RuneQuest, which is another game I used to play. Wasn't as popular, but the figures were cool. We used to collect the figures for RuneQuest. Traveller. The Traveller was a science fiction set in space role-playing adventure game, just like Dungeons & Dragons, but it was space. And you could collect all the figures for Traveller. So there you go, look. So still got all of them. There's all the spaceships you get. These are all in lead, guys. You could buy these all in lead. They go for a fortune now. Really, really collectible. Brings back so many memories. Ancient Romans, 1200 AD. I don't remember that game. So yeah, I mean, original catalogue from back in the day. Isn't that cool? Never get rid of that. So to buy these figures, we used to go up to a place in Hammersmith, which was a Games Workshop. And I've still got some pictures somewhere. It was the only shop in the UK that sold these lead figures, all the Games Workshop games, and early video games for the Sinclair Spectrum as well, which I'm going to show you in a bit. It was the only place, and in fact, even people like what's his name, who wrote the, do you know the books? Do you remember the books, Forest of Doom? Ian Livingstone. Ian Livingstone used to come to this Games Workshop and we used to get our books signed. So I don't know if you remember this book, Forest of Doom. It's basically a book that you decide your own path in. So you'd read a bit and it would say, right, what decision do you want to make? If you make this decision, turn to page 50, or this decision, turn to page 40. So it was a book that you could sort of choose your own destination in. It was we'd never seen anything like it back in the day. This game on the Sinclair Spectrum wasn't great. I still preferred reading the book, but loved having just this on cassette anyway, because I loved the artwork for the book. It's fantastic. So yeah, Ian Livingstone used to come up to the shop quite a lot. I used to see him in there all the time. And I know Julian Gollop used to go there too, because he used to make games, board games, before he got into video games. And one of his games was Chaos, which for us was fantastic. For us D&D fans, this was absolutely fantastic. And in fact, it really got us out of D&D in a way, really. This was like the turning point where video games started doing everything you could do in Dungeons & Dragons, but kind of better, really, because the computer did all the decisions for you in a way. Do you know what I mean? It drew the maps, it drew the dungeons. And this game was absolutely fantastic. Up to 8 players, all battling it out at once. And I still love this game today. It's so good. I still load it up now and again. It's a fantastic game because every game you play in Chaos is different. You know, not every game's the same. And when you've got some mates together playing this game, it really, really is cool. It's a fantastic game. And kind of drew us out of playing Dungeons & Dragons, really. Really love that game. So yeah, I mean, really love Dungeons & Dragons. So what I was going to show you now is my figures. Got a load of figures here to show you. Look at these guys. A whole box of early Rail Partha figures, Citadel Miniature figures that I've kept. I've never sell these. I think I did sell up quite a lot of my armies, but these are some of the really early Citadel Miniatures. So here we've got, I think this is a Black Dragon. This is one I painted back in the day. This is out of the first catalogue. So this is made of lead. It hasn't got a date on the back. But I painted that. I was probably about 13 when I painted that. And the highlights we used to do on there were quite bold highlights. Now they've got so many different techniques. Some of these actually used to have on show in the shop. There was a shop called Games Unlimited in Kingston, and they let the kids put their figures in the front window, and it was good advertisement for them to sell the figures. But obviously you had to be a good enough painter. I did have one in the window, but I can't remember which one it was. So we've got loads under here, guys. Absolutely loads. See if I can just, no, I can't lift all of it out like that. Let's try and move that a minute. So here are really early Rail Partha Citadel Miniatures from probably about 1979, early 80s. Okay, so I'm going to pick a few of them out. We've got the Treant that I showed you in the catalogue, and I've stuck a skull in his hand. Can you see that? That's a really early treant. All made of lead. All made of lead. We've got Cyclops here. This goes for quite a bit of money. So this is out of Seventh Voyage, Sinbad. There's my Cyclops. All painted by me as a kid. Isn't that cool? Focus in on there. Does it focus? It's cool, isn't it? On the back there, it's got Round Partha 1982. Can you see that? 1982. So that was actually an American figure. We've got the Troll Tribes, the two-headed troll. Iconic Dungeons and Dragons figure. Hasn't got a date on that one. We've got the Troll Wife. Now this hasn't been painted very well at all. Love this figure. She's got her boobies out there, look. She's got her axe and she's got a bunch of bones and dead bodies in her sack there, look. No date on that one though, but she's part of the Troll Tribe. This figure, you'll know, this figure was actually in Stranger Things, and it's my original one. I don't think I painted this one, because this is an early figure. Has it got a date on it? Can't see that. I think it's 1980 or something like that. 1980, that one. That's a Round Partha figure. So yeah, if you watch the beginning of the first episode, first scene in Stranger Things, they actually bring this figure out. Isn't that cool? So cool. This is one I painted, Troll Champion. One of my early Troll Tribes. That's one I painted. I remember painting that. Took great pride in painting that figure. Loved that figure. What else we got in here? We've got like a Three Stooges, three-headed troll thing. Is it focusing okay? Orcs or ogres. Got a Minotaur here. This is an early figure from the early catalogue. It's a really early one. And we've got a Hydra. That's painted by me. Early Hydra. What else we got? Oh, this is a good one. This is a nice one. A Minotaur. Nicely painted Minotaur. So yeah, I just thought I'd show, and a Balrog. There's so many here. Got a Balrog from Lord of the Rings. That's a good one. No date on that one, I'm sure. Oh, this is the one I really want to show you. This was the first figure I ever bought, and I'm sure he's in the catalogue. Let's have a look. I think he's on page 1. No. What page is he on? I'm sure he's in here. So funny looking back in his catalogue. Maybe he's not in here. I thought he was one of the earliest figures. He's in here, I know he is. Anyway, I can't find him. This is one of the earliest Citadel Miniatures, and it is a Cyclops with like elf-like ears, but really, really early. Can you see that, guys? It's really early. There's no date on that one, but that was the first figure I ever bought. So cool. So yeah, that's it, guys. I've got this one here, look. Chimera. Here's a fancy one. Sorcerer. Nicely painted. I think my mate painted that. You can tell by the different art styles. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. My Citadel miniature collection. There they all are. Look, oh, they're all falling out. You've got to be so careful with these, because they're all made of lead. You've got to be so careful. So all of these are original from back in the day. Isn't that cool? I've got the dragon here, but it's in bits. Remember the red dragon? I need to glue him back in. I need to really, what I used to do is drill holes through the body, put like a stent in there, hold it together, but that's a really early one. Again, it's not in great condition because, you know, we did look after them. I looked after all these. All these used to be on a shelf, but, you know, with age, you do drop them. Here's a cool one. There's a Beholder. Beholder. That's a later one. It's got plastic in it. So many here, guys. But I just think it's cool that I've kept all these. I'd never get rid of them. It's part of my childhood growing up. You know, Dungeons and Dragons was such a cool game. We even used to go to Citadel Caves in Kent. I don't know if you've been there, guys. You must go there. It's got so much history. So Citadel Caves back in the day was originally dug out by the Druids, and there's altars down there where they actually used to make sacrifices. You can actually see where they made so many sacrifices, like blood of where the blood used to run off the body. It's carved out in stone into a big pool. There's a big altar down there. So these are like thousands of years old. Then the Romans got into these caves and took out the stone to build all the roads in England. A lot of the roads for the A1 and the A303, the A30. Romans dug all of the chalk out of Chiselhurst Caves and used them for the roads way back when. And then, so, you know, you go down there and there's sort of, you can see where the Romans have used their carts, because you can see where the cartwheels used to go along. And then in the war, Second World War, they actually use it as a shelter. And there's a church down there, a hospital down there. Doctor Who used to film down there, so there's like glitter everywhere. I think there's one scene where they filmed with the Daleks. One episode with the Daleks down there. The Beatles played down there. There's a stage down there just after the war. The Beatles used to go down there and play, and a few other bands. It's got so much history, Chiselhurst Caves, and it was somewhere you can go now and play these role-playing games. I don't do it at my age, but I did take my son down there about, I don't know, 15 years ago, when he could appreciate it. So you all get, you can even do like a modern day one, like with guns and stuff, you know, like paintballing, or you can do the old role-playing one with swords and shields. So you go down with wooden shield and sword, all wrapped in foam, and you just act out, you know, Dungeons and Dragons. I know it's nerdy, but you know, it's harmless fun, and I think it's great for kids, you know. I enjoyed it, but obviously nowadays people play Dungeons and Dragons. It's a lot cooler to play World of Warcraft on your computer than go down there and look like a nerd, you know. But I loved it back in the day because we didn't have anything else. We didn't have these big games like we got now. All we had were games like Avalon, which was actually quite a cool game on the Sinclair Spectrum. I really enjoyed Avalon. Bit spooky, but it was kind of Dungeons and Dragons-y. And of course Chaos, which I've showed you. This is Lords of Chaos. This actually goes for quite a lot of money now on the Sinclair Spectrum. This was, I didn't think it was as good as Chaos, although it was a lot bigger. It was scrolling, bigger scenarios, bigger dungeons. Still a great game, but the original for me does it. That's where I've got my memories from. Again, another great game from Julian Gollop. Really, really cool. And I don't know why, but Wizards Warrior, which is basically Wizards of War, which is, I've got my t-shirt on here, massive fan of. This is the game I used to play on the Sinclair Spectrum, and it hasn't got all the synthesized speech, but it was a good game, and you could play 2-player, and I really, really enjoyed it. And it was kind of Dungeons and Dragons-y, you know, you're in a dungeon. So yeah, I was massively into Dungeons and Dragons as a kid. I really, really enjoyed it, and I know people still play it today, you know, and I think that's great. I couldn't go back to it now. I don't know, I don't have enough time. It does take a lot of time up, but if you haven't played it, just check it out. It is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. But I guess everyone now is playing World of Warcraft, which I played for ages. I played that game for about a year. I mean, that game's like crack, you know, I couldn't get off it. It was so good. I know it's still going now, it's crazy. I used to love games like Baldur's Gate. Diablo was good, actually just started playing that on the Switch. That's quite Dungeons and Dragons-y. But yeah, it's the original ones I always go back to. So that's it for this week, guys. Just a little trip down memory lane. I really enjoyed doing this video. I'm going to do more. I've got other subjects to talk about. I hope you enjoyed it. I've got a new cab to show you soon as well. I've just got to get a few things fixed on it and I'll showcase it in a video. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.